The following is a brief preview of a 1 hour, 20-minute conversation that we recently recorded with regards to Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse series on Netflix. The whole thing is currently available for our Patreon supporters, so please do consider supporting us on Patreon, and the conversation will be made public at the beginning of February. But until then, here's something to whet your appetite. But let's start with a simple one. When was the end of the last ice age?
Well, it depends on whereabouts in the world you're looking from.
Okay, yeah.
It's 12 to 15-ish thousand years ago-ish.
So, yeah, ballpark, Northern Hemisphere, Northern Europe.
Ballpark, yeah. It depends, again, right? It really depends on where you're talking about. And I think that thinking about this at a global scale is not particularly useful if we're thinking about a particular population of people. If we want to talk about some Clovis technology user person in North Dakota versus modern day versus a person living at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, present day, they probably experienced the same year very, very, very differently and in a given place. So I agree with that. I think it really depends.
Very differently. Yeah. So it wasn't a single cataclysmic, he loved that word, didn't he? Event. Okay, what about sea level rise? Does anyone want to have a guess at how quickly sea level rose on average? Let's say per year.
But again, it's cyclical. I mean, I've got the River Thames just down at the bottom of the hill from me, and the sea level in East London rose between the beginning of the Roman period and the end of the Roman period. The Roman port of London migrated downriver a mile or so because of the changing tidal line.
But with the melting of ice, this massive water being quote unquote dumped into the oceans, how quickly did the sea rise per year? Just throw out a ballpark figure.
It's pretty slow. It's a
centimeter per year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's something in that neighborhood. It's right.
Yeah. Maybe a meter per century.
Not quite the gigantic tidal wave of 90s destruction movies that I think that Hancock is implying.
Yeah. And the fact that the clouds swirling and changing color, the lightning, the tsunamis, this kind of thing.
But again, this is the other thing that people forget about Hancock. He bought into the whole Mayan Prophecy 2012 thing.
Yeah.
And then when it didn't happen, that quietly gets shelved.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay, how about the fact that archaeologists are slow to and refuse to look at various archaeological sites around the world? Have you ever turned down work?
I mean, I've talked about this a lot, probably more than anything else, but this is the most, if you're an archaeologist, is the most fundamentally ridiculous claim that we hear in this show and that we keep getting criticized for. This idea that archaeologists would choose to hide incredible findings, a massive globe-spanning civilization that existed during the Pleistocene. We would hide this for quote unquote reasons, and people keep saying, "Oh, it's because of grant funding. It's you want to protect your grant funding." Do you know how grants work? Do you know how many do you know how much millions of dollars people would pour on top of me if I had a single Atlantean artifact in my laboratory that I could make oh my God, it would make your career and the career of everybody you've ever met. It would be insane. So that's nuts. It's nuts that this has been that this has become a narrative that we are somehow trying to, and this is the place perhaps where the show gets most conspiratorial, actually, more than anything else, is this idea that there truly is some idea of a collaboration of archaeologists who are hiding the truth, quote, the truth. They, quote, are hiding the truth. What are we supposedly hiding? Are you not? We take the most boring archaeological finds and try and convince people they're the most important thing that's ever been found in the continent where you happen to work. So I don't know if I buy that argument so much.